What's going on, y'all? 800-360 here. As always, this video is just my thoughts and my opinions on video games and things that I love. What we're going to be talking about is the Switch 2 spec rumors and leaks. This is coming from Centro leaks. I believe that they got all of their information from tvPH. I will put a link of his video in the description so you guys can watch that for yourself. We're just going to go over this. So, lots of information regarding the success of the Nintendo Switch has been popping up over the last few weeks. While we have covered most of the trustworthy rumors and leaks, we wanted to compile everything we know about the next-gen Nintendo console. Let's start with performance. The reality is that the Switch 2 will be a very powerful handheld device, much more than you might expect. PS5 and Xbox Series X will be 4 years old when the Switch 2 releases. The Switch 2 hardware will be much more modern, especially thanks to DLSS. So while raw power won't match current-gen consoles, image quality won't be far behind. Comparing apples to apples here is just impossible. The architecture is too different, and we don't have enough info yet. However, it will be a gigantic leap over the original Switch, and Nintendo is using a lot of cutting-edge technology. Just real quick, kind of going over this. Yeah, I mean, DLSS will be a game changer if they can get it in the Switch 2 hardware. I imagine that's probably going to be just a shoo-in, knowing that NVIDIA is working with Nintendo very closely on bringing this product to market. And I mean, look, Series family of consoles and the PS5 are based off of RDNA 2, I believe. And they have FSR, and we've seen some FSR in Switch games, and I mean, it's good. It's good on the PC side of things, but as far as any sort of upscaling, software and rendering goes, DLSS really is kind of just the clear-cut winner. I know Sony has some form of proprietary checkerboarding that they use that looks pretty damn good, but still, I mean, DLSS all the way. It's just, I'm not trying to be an NVIDIA shill or anything, but I have a 4090 in my PC, and if DLSS is an option, whether we need it or not, you put it on because it just looks that good in my opinion. Now let's dive into the leaks. So we have divided them based on their trustworthiness rating, starting with leaks reported by multiple trustworthy sources that are highly likely to be accurate, and ending with rumors whose credibility is still up in the air. All but confirmed. The screen will be 8 inches, LCD at least on one launch model. So that's actually something I didn't notice before on one launch model. Maybe they're planning on going a 2 SKU approach like Sony and Microsoft did. That doesn't really seem to be Nintendo's wheelhouse, at least off the cuff. I don't know. I think it's kind of a miss not having an OLED screen though. They already did it with the Switch OLED. Steam released the Steam Deck OLED. Hell, man, Sony did it with the PS Vita on their launch model. Excuse me. This is actually my second time recording this video. I was in the editing process, and I realized that my mic and my audio quality was all messed up. So that was a bummer. And it is currently 9:43, and I should be getting ready to go to bed right now because I have to be at work in the morning, and I get up at 5. But anyway, enough of my woes. It will be using DLSS version 3.5 to improve performance and support ray tracing. Again, just the best upscaling that we have to date, I think. And to see how Nintendo could utilize ray tracing especially in their first-party titles, Mario, Zelda, God, please give me a new Star Fox game, for the love of God. They already work magic on the current hardware, which is archaic and ancient and decrepit at this point, and it still looks good. It still performs well. So I can only imagine what they would have with updated software. 12 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM. I imagine that's just going to be faster, faster memory, right? And just be able to do things at a faster rate. I don't really know too much about it, but I know 5X sounds fancy and fun. 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 internal storage. Not quite sure what that means. Maybe some sort of SSD. I think I saw something where it might be kind of like Diet NVMe. I think I saw Jeff Grubb say that. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on it though. But if it is some sort of SSD format, then that's going to be a game changer. And I think it would just be a no-brainer for Nintendo to go in that route. Current generation hardware is using SSDs. Damn near every game on the PC side recommends an NVMe storage. It's just modern technology at this point, right? And there's no reason not to use it. We'll use magnets to attach the new Joy-Con in some way. That's just a quality of life upgrade. The little switchy thingies that the Switch uses, no pun intended, it sucks. I knock my Joy-Cons out of place all the time. Will be completely backward compatible with the original Switch games, physical and digital, and will connect via Bluetooth to original Joy-Con and Pro controllers. That would be a very smart decision by Nintendo to have full backwards compatibility. We are in the age of the digital library. I know you have a lot of people that are fighting for physical media to stay more relevant. But I mean, it's the digital age now, whether we like it or not. I personally don't care. I play most of my stuff on PC. So it just ease of use for me personally. But I respect people who have that attachment to their physical library. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the great things about this industry, right? Of having something that you can tangibly hold in your hand, that you can post up, that you can make collections out of, and you own that product. You know what I mean? We're seeing it currently with a lot of companies pulling digital licensing. It's a fear that's always going to be there. I don't think there's ever going to be a way to truly alleviate that fear. But this is the future. We're going into the digital age. We've been in the digital age. It's here. It started last gen. It started with the PS3 and the 360. It is what it is. 4K support while docked, and use the new NVIDIA Tegra 2 T239. Don't really know what that means, but if it's new and it's from NVIDIA, it's probably beast. And 4K support while docked. Yeah, right? I mean, modern gaming. It's 4K. 4K is everywhere. It's just the standard now. It's the new 1080p. Just yeah. I mean, if they didn't have some sort of 4K support, whether it was native, which I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting Nintendo to have native 4K support. But yeah, it just 4K. Other potential leaks: an integrated microphone, which I mean could be interesting. You know, cool. Not really a big deal for me personally. I think rather than having an integrated microphone, Nintendo should work on their online infrastructure and their online multiplayer and get that shit squared away and actually have in-game party chat. And modern features, right? Will launch in March of 2025. That'd be cool. I'd be stoked for that. Launches in March 2025. That shit is going to sell out. Just no doubt about it. I think that as soon as pre-orders go live, stock will be depleted. If that's even a thing, if it can be a thing, Nintendo will do it. Sega, Atlas, Capcom, EA, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, and Koei Tecmo will immediately support the new console. They would be very smart to do so, because the Nintendo Switch was an absolute juggernaut of success. And I think a lot of companies are regretting not getting on the ground floor of that console's life cycle in the beginning. We saw, heavy support actually from Bethesda, ironically. um, you see all these late generation ports, right, coming from these companies, and now, I mean, just look at the money that was left on the table, especially EA. Man, I know that if there would have been some form of Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch, You would think that ABK couldn't make more money, but there's always more money to be made. And we'll have a new physical cartridge format. That'd be interesting, considering that it's supposedly going to support the older generation of cartridges. So I'm wondering what that's going to look like. Um, I'm pretty sure the DS, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure the DS had some way where you could put, the DS cartridges and I think it's like Game Boy or maybe Game Boy Advance cartridges in it. And if I'm remembering correctly, I believe the DS was in the bottom and the Game Boy was on the top, or it could be the other way around. Either way, you sure though? I just vaguely remember seeing something like that. I could have been an adapter for it, but I just vaguely remember being like holding my friend's DS, being like, "Oh shit, there's a Game Boy game in here. Oh shit, there's a DS game in here." So quick search. Real DS. DS. Play Game Boy games. Damn. Fucking first thing. When Nintendo DS is compatible with Game Boy Advance games, it is not able to play Game Boy Color. Original Game Boy games. There were two main reasons for this. It's compatible. There were digital Game Boy Advance games at the time. There you go. The size of the console will be between the original Switch and Steam Deck, closer to the RPG. Yeah, I mean, it's the form factor. Plus, you're seeing all of these personal handheld PC devices, Ally, Steam Deck, Lenovo. Um, it's a very similar mold, right? Controllers on the side, screen in the middle. They all stole it from the Switch. Switch originated that fucking design, at least within the modern sense of what we know now. Fuck, man, Lenovo, you can even like pull the things off like Joy Cons. It's literally the Switch to just not buy Nintendo with, you know, supported Nintendo games. But I mean, yeah, these devices are going to. I mean, we're in the early stages of that stuff, man. We're in the early stages of bringing console quality games to that extent on the go, the way that we've been. So it's going to be changing. They're going to get bigger. They're going to get thinner. They're going to get smaller. It's just going to be iterating upon iterating upon iterating. It will use the new micro SD express cards for expandable storage, so your current micro SD cards may not work. This new SD format will launch later this year. It will be more expensive. Initially, these cards will be limited to 256 gigabytes. Cool. I mean, new storage formats. Shit's ever evolving, right? I think it would be smart if they could find a way to utilize current SD storage. Just because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with their digital libraries on, obviously the current SD formats. And it just like makes sense, just like as an ease of use thing to be able to just like pop it in. But, these may have, faster read and write speeds, which might be taken advantage of by Nintendo. So that'd be interesting. And just a couple more rumors that apparently they need more sources on. One new button on the back of each Joy-Con. It would make sense. Steam Deck has it. The Rogue Ally has it. Just nice to have a nice little back button, you know what I mean? So while you're playing it, kind of like fondle the back a little bit. Yeah, yeah. From the back, yeah, twist it from the front. A new button below the home button. I would imagine that would have to do with some sort of sharing thing or recording. Oh, maybe Nintendo will make it easier to create and stream content. The kickstand will have a dampening bracket. I would imagine that would just be something that would maybe give it a little bit more stability. And Pokemon is already working on 3 projects for the new console, and I don't think anybody had a crystal ball to figure that out. I think Stevie Wonder could fucking see that happening. And there was something else that I want to. Shit. It's probably already seen this one, probably from Centro release. The Nintendo Switch 2 code name is Moshi. So there you go. Looking at that. Yeah, there you go. Just a quick little mock up of what it may or may not look like. Just imagine it with a 1 inch bigger screen. And what was the other word? It was something about the tutor. Yes, this one. Okay. And then again, just from Central Leagues, and yes, it is from Brazilian tvPH. And again, I will try and find his video and link that one in the description. But Switch 2 is planned to release in March 2025. Expecting more information about the console in the fall, which would make sense if it's going to launch in 2025. They're going to want to start marketing, the ramp up to the marketing for that. More remasters will be revealed in the June Direct, being planned as the last big Switch-focused Direct, and an Indie World planned for August. I imagine that Indie World would be just to kind of like finish it out, maybe do a little cross-gen period for indies. I'm sure there's a couple of indie devs out there that have the Switch 2 dev kits, maybe not. I don't know. It's really cool and interesting is remasters will be revealed in the June Direct, being planned as the last big Switch focused Direct. I'm gonna just pray the dice, and my shot in the dark pie in the sky would be some sort of Star Fox remaster. Fuck man, I'll take the one from the Wii U. I don't care. I just need Star Fox in my life. I know there were rumors about the Zelda HD collection. I know there were rumors about maybe an F-Zero GX remaster. I mean, that'd be pretty dope, dude. Imagine that with like online multiplayer. And I think the cool potential of these, right, is if it's going to be backwards compatibility, it's not, it's not a waste of a direct. You know what I mean? You're just literally saying, hey, here's more games that you can play on the new system. Here's some new shit for you guys. Here's some nostalgia for y'all that you can bring into the new generation. I think that's honestly a genius idea. Especially if a lot of them are within from like the GameCube era. The question would be is that if they're doing if right, just fucking far out thought here, right? If they are doing GameCube remasters, because it seems like they've done it, right? Then there might not be plans for GameCube integration and Nintendo Switch Online. Or they take those remasters and they put them in Nintendo Switch Online. And maybe I hit the lottery tomorrow and don't have to work another day in my fucking life. Or maybe this video goes viral and I don't have to do anything other than make YouTube videos for the rest of my fucking life. I don't think any of those are happening. Some third-party games will be confirmed for the Switch 2 as early as the second half of this year. That would make sense. Start the marketing cycle, the ramp up, all that good stuff. Yeah, I mean you're gonna need support. Obviously, I fully believe that Nintendo could hold up the launch of their new system all by themselves, but again, you're not going to have developers, you're not going to have companies making that same mistake that they had with the first Switch, man. They're going to want to get it on the ground floor of this thing. And it reiterates that the Switch 2 will have physical and digital backwards compatibility with OG Switch games. So that's kind of the up to date with where everything seems to be. And it's it's all good stuff in my opinion. I mean Nintendo seems to be the only company right now between the big three that has their shit together. I don't really know if they've been affected by closures, they've been affected by layoffs, they've been affected by really any of the bullshit that's happening in the industry right now. I mean, they're definitely not perfect, but I think Nintendo's in the best position as far as the big three go right now. And I mean, listen, all they really got to do is just make the obvious choices. Just stay the course, do what they do best, deliver great content on affordable hardware, iterate on what's already worked. Don't go fucking crazy. Don't go out of the box. Don't make us have to, do crazy gimmicks like flop our dick on the screen to get access to it or spin around in a fucking circle with our toes singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Just take the Switch, make it stronger, deliver great content. And that's all they need to do, man. But as always, that is all I got. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.